Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishna Nedarim, Parakeh, chapter 5, Mishnah Gimel, Mishnah 3. Today's learning of Mishnah should be a schus for Shalema for Gavriel ben Etel Gita.
Amen.
Okay. Hamudar hana me chaveroi, one who is forbidden to have benefit from his friend. Okay, he's not allowed to have benefit from this friend. He cannot benefit from his property, which is going to be the focus here. Because he cannot have benefit, he's not allowed to have benefit from his property. V'yesh lo merchetz, and the person who he may not have benefit from owns a bathhouse, ubeis habad, or an olive press, muskarim be'ir, that he rents out to others in the city. Okay, so let's give some names here. Okay, you have Ruvain. Ruvain may not have benefit from Shimon. That was the nether. He cannot benefit from him. Shimon owns a bathhouse or an olive press that he rents out to others. Now the question is, can Ruvain somehow or another use that olive press? Because let's remember, the olive press is rented out to others. And apparently, these people who rent can let other people use it also if they want. So here the question here is that now that this bathhouse, let's say, that Shimon owns, okay, is rented out to others, so maybe now Reuven can use it because now that it's rented out to others, it's not considered Shimon's anymore, it's considered the other people. Says the Mishnah, Im yesh lo ben tfisas yad, if Shimon, meaning the person who may not have benefit from, has tfisas yad, which will translate right now, he still has a holding in the bathhouse or the olive press. We'll explain what that means soon. Usser. Then Ruvain, who has the nether, who may not benefit from Shimon, may not use any of those places. Ein lo behen tfisas yad. But if, let's say, Shimon, who again is a person that Ruvain may not have benefit from, does not have a holding in them, then we say, mutter, he's allowed to use it. So what is this issue of whether he has a holding in it or not? So the Bartanura explains that what that means is having a holding in it means he did not rent out the entire property, but kept a part of it for himself. So he has a bathhouse, right? And there are a couple of baths, right? And he rents he has a couple of baths and he rents it out to different people, but he held on to one for himself. He rented out the olive press, but somehow or another, he still holds on to some rights for himself to use it. In that situation, we say, you can't use it. And the way they explained it here is that if...
getting rent from it.
That's not the point. The point here is that since the person who you cannot benefit from controls parts of these places, all of it is considered his property, which was prohibited by the nether. Somehow, the Mishnah is saying, if I rented out the whole thing, I don't have anything in it anymore, but I'm renting it. Of course, I'm getting rent money for it. Mm-hmm. But the point is, I'm not holding on to any part of it for myself. If I'm not holding on to any part of it for myself, that means it's gone from me. It's gone. The property is rented out to others. It's gone from me. It's considered not my property, and you can have benefit from the nether. Because when you rent something, in many ways, that's considered like it's yours now. It's like it's yours now. And therefore, if the renter now has given up everything to be rented out, he has nothing in it, so it's not considered his for Nedarim, and therefore the person may not have benefit from him or his property may use it. But if he still retains some hold in it, right, one of the baths he still holds on for himself, then although he rented out the rest of it, it's still considered that he has a hold on the whole thing. And therefore, it's still considered his, to the point that the person who may not have benefit from him may not use any of the baths. So the point here is that if it's completely rented out, then the person who rented out, it's not like it's considered not his anymore, and you're not using his, using somebody else's. But if he still holds on to one part of it, he still has a hold in it, as the Mishnah says, then even the parts that are rented out are still considered his. They're still in his domain, still in his control of sorts, and therefore it's still his, and if you use it, you're using his thing, and since you have a neder, you can't have benefit from him, you can't use his thing. Now the Mishnah continues. Ha'omer lachaveiroi, someone who says to his friend, Kainam lebeischa shani nichnas, I consider it like a carbon for me to enter your house. That's a way of saying that I forbid myself from entering your house. He's saying your house is like a carbon to me, something I can't have benefit from, regarding that I'm not going to enter. Or your field is like a carbon that I'm regarding my buying it. If it's like a carbon, you can't buy it. So his neder here is basically, I cannot have benefit from your house. I cannot have any kind of benefit. I make a neder not to enter your house. I forbid myself to enter your house, or I forbid myself to buy your field. That's the neder that was made. Now, Mace, the person who owns the field, the person who he may not have benefit from, because he said, the person who may not have benefit from his field died. Or he sold it to somebody else. So now what's the status regarding this person who made the neder? Can he enter the field? Can he enter the house? Can he buy the field? The answer is mutter. He is permitted. Because when he made the neder was, I'm not going to walk into your house. I'm not going to buy your field. But if he died, it's not his anymore. If he sold, it's not his anymore. The fact that when he made the neder, he said your field, your house, means that the neder means as long as it's your house, I'm not going to walk into it. But once it's not your house anymore, I could walk in. And therefore, if he dies or sells it, it's not his house anymore, he can walk in. However, if let's say the case was, basically, I forbid myself from walking into this house. Konam, like a carbon regarding my walking into this house. That means he's making a neder, he's not going to walk into this house. Or his neder is, this field I will not buy. He forbids himself from buying this field. Then, if the owner dies or sells it to somebody else, usher, they're not allowed to walk in. Why? Because in this case, he didn't say your field, he said this field. That means the neder is about this field. Doesn't make a difference who owns it. It's about this field or it's about this house. And therefore, even if ownership has changed, it's not the owner, it's not the same owner as when he made the neder, he's still forbidden. Because the neder didn't include the owner in the neder. It's not about his field, it's about this field or this house. And therefore, even if the owner who was there when he made the neder dies, he's still going to be forbidden. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
T'vach Shavua Tov.